Lord, we would be a conduit of your love to them, that our classrooms would be full of joy and wonder, that we'd be an encouragement to those students who are persevering because learning is hard work. And I just ask, Lord, as we take up this meeting today, that you would guide us, that we would seek your wisdom in all things, and that you'd be glorified in the decisions made here today. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I will now call to order the special meeting of February 27th. 2024. I want to welcome everyone who's here joining us today and take this opportunity to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and to make decisions that will decide the future direction of our schools here in Clay County. If you wish to address the board on an agenda item, there will be an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Please fill out a card, which I have a stack here, which you will find located in the back of the room over here if you need one, and turn it in promptly to one of our officers. If you have items that you'd like to present to the school board or superintendent, please hand them to our officer who will distribute them accordingly. Your participation is welcomed and appreciated. And if you'll look on, I don't know if you guys have copies of our agendas, but the comments will come, the public comments will be after the board votes on the 2 items that we have on our special meeting agenda. All right, so the first item we're taking up is the interlocal agreement between the School Board of Clay County and the Board of County Commissioners, funding for transition of the school resource officers to CCSO.
So if it could, I'll defer to our attorney to explain this item.
Absolutely. So good morning to the board. So I was contacted by the county attorney over last day or two about a basic requested change to this contract. As you understand, this contract is something that we need. There was a timeliness issue to bringing this forward because we're working with 3 different agencies, the Sheriff's Department, the County Commission, and the school district. So they have requested this change that the clerk of court be removed from this specific part of the agreement. This is purely just so we can keep this focus between the County Commission and the school district. So this is, I don't want to use the word cosmetic, but this is more just a ministerial change. It will not change the content of the document, will not change the purpose or the legal effect of it. It'll purely just focus the agreement between the county commission and the school district. So, and my apologies saying this fairly late. I got it yesterday, and there was some ongoing discussion. Does the board have any specific questions about that I can answer? We're good? Okay.
Okay, I have a little statement to read that kind of clarifies the change being made. It says, Council for the Board of County Commissioners has requested a revision to the interlocal agreement between the School Board of Clay County and the Board of County Commissioners of Clay County, Florida. Specifically, paragraph 7 has been revised to delete the phrase "through its comptroller" so that the obligations under the agreement remain strictly between the school board and the county and do not involve another constitutional office. All right. So do I have a motion?
I move approval.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Bola, a second from Ms. Clark. Is there any further discussion?
No, ma'am, I think at this point, just the actual agreement itself.
Okay. All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Our second item is to approve the contract for legal services between the School Board of Clay County, Florida and the Douglas Law Firm. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
A motion from Ms.
Point of
Clinton
order, move approval or? I'll move approval. Thank you.
and a second.
Second.
Okay, second from Ms. Bola. Any discussion?
I would like to possibly review this in 6 months or so.
Okay.
I think 9 months may be too far. Make sure that both parties are happy. I think we have to recognize, as far as the pay, that we've got to compare apples to apples. And I think that what we're getting to attorneys for this price, and yet we're no longer paying malpractice, we're not paying for retirement or health benefits. This is one heck of a deal, and I want to make sure everybody's happy so that we don't go down this road again and whatever it takes to meet the needs. And, you know, we need to be positive and not negative and try to work this out smoothly.
I think a 6-month review is a good thing.
The six months would be at the end of our fiscal year as well.
Right, and that's at
And
the
that would
budget
be-
time. Yep,
That makes sense.
And I agree, it's not a regular employee contract, we're not paying all the benefits, I agree, Ms. Clark, that it's important that we revisit that.
And, you know, I think honestly, we should also revisit the tool that we've historically used for evaluating legal services.
Sure.
I think we need one that's specific to the board and one that's specific to the superintendent's office.
We did talk about separate, remember job descriptions back in the day when we were looking for an attorney for the board to create a second job description so we could vote on them separately to have separate jobs. We didn't have both descriptions was my understanding, and I'm not sure we need it when you have a firm, but it's
Right.
something I would need to have more information about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I would say that this is the next evolution in the relationship. You know, having a firm is a different mode than Clay County Schools has been used to, and so there's an adjustment period that goes on there. I feel good about the direction that we're going. JP being here, you know, full-time and dedicated full-time to the needs of Clay County Schools is important, so I kind of see this as the next evolution in that process.
Are you good with the 6-month review versus
Yeah.
the 9 months?
Yeah.
It's actually contained in the contract.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and with the job description, here again with a firm, I think it's more, not so much a job as, are we seeing that all of the tasks that are necessary in the school district, are they being addressed? Which we've talked about throughout as well, so. Got it.
All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Did we have a
opposed?
motion?
We did.
Yes, thank you, got it, yep. I'm sorry.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, so at this time, we'll move to presentations from the audience. And Ms. Honora, I just realized I didn't sign into my agenda. Are you voting for me?
I'm voting for, I think Ms. Hanson cast a vote, and that might be the only one.
We're out of time, so you're all good in this
They don't
room.
usually do, I just got one.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Otherwise, it comes through yet, it doesn't.
You voted for all of us, though? I did. Okay.
So our first public speaker will be Carol. Please forgive me if I pronounce names incorrectly. Patsuga? Is that correct?
Oh, yes, Kapuga, that's correct. I just have a quick comment to make, and it's something we haven't really discussed yet. I thought we'd be talking, making our comments after, we heard a proposal. I'm a media specialist at Fleming Island High School, and we're concerned about the direction of literacy among our students. We had what we considered an opt-in form this past year for students who wanted to check out, parents who, wanted their students to check out a book, had to fill out a form to give their child permission to check out a book in our school libraries in the high school. And we had 65.4% returned, which we felt was pretty good. But what we found is we had a 33.24% decrease in circulation or checking out books from this year to last year, which we attribute in part to the opt-in form. Yes, because if a student would come and wanted to check out a book, they didn't have their form filled out, we would give them a form, tell them to go have their parents sign it, come back, we'll check out to you. 4 out of 5 of those forms never returned. The student never returned to check their book out. Also, due to reconsideration this year, we've had to take so many books off the shelf. So we feel like, or I feel, at least at our school, that we've had this decrease in circulation due to the opt-in form and also lack of books on the shelf due to the reconsideration. So instead of promoting literacy, I feel as though we're really obstructing it with some of the things that are in place this year.
Okay, Kelly Robertson.
Yes, I'm Kelly Robertson. So I would like to speak on the same issue, but I would like to go back to the fall meeting that we had with Ms. Hanson, and that she was gracious enough to come and meet with the media specialist at Fleming Island. And she was proposing a plan, and we listened to her, and we felt that that plan was basically laid out some ideas, but it wasn't a concrete plan when we left. But as she started holding these office hours with the public, and we appreciate you coming. The plan was not concrete, and you didn't have our support. You met with us, but to go to the public and say that you had our support was really not factual. So you didn't have a concrete plan when you left. So I just wanted to make sure that that was understood. So your office hours, presenting it to the public, you may have had a plan, but to say that it was supported by all the media specialists who met with us, that was true. But you didn't have our entire support. It was not a concrete plan when you left our meeting.
Madam Chair, if we could, we should not name any employee or board member in the comments, so we can kind of keep that.
Yeah. And also, I forgot to be clear that when you speak, obviously state your name, and if you're an employee, your address is on file, so you can say it that way, or you can state your address of your school if you prefer. Okay. Our next speaker is Kim Lanu.
I am Kim Lanu. I am a media specialist at Lakeside Junior. I started as an English teacher in Middleburg High School for 22 years, so reading is definitely near and dear for me. I did transition to video production and spent a good 11 years on that. So working with students, doing the extra things, I'm not scared of extra work. I actually volunteer for it most of the time. I don't know why. But I'm not scared of work on this. I know this is a lot of work, all these forms, and we're willing to do what gets books into children's hands. But it is taking us backwards a little. I know as at my school, I have 8 ELA teachers, and I have them rotate into the library every month. So every lesson that I prepare for them, I have to then go back and check every single one of their rosters to make sure who's not allowed to touch the books. Pull them, they have to do a totally different activity because they're not allowed to touch the books. And it's just preventing so many things, so many connections that can be made with books because reading doesn't go away. This is the time to develop the skill in a method that is a choice, a book that they get to pick, that they're going to like to read because they're going to have to read, whether it's college, whether it's a trade, whether it's reading your mail, reading, from the bank, whatever. You have to develop that skill, and I feel like the way we have done this method, I'm just hoping we can do something that's going to be better, that's going to respect the parents, but also get the books into the hands of the students.
Christy Terrell.
That's me. I'm Christy Terrell. I am a media specialist at Oak Leaf High School. And there's just a couple of points that I would like to make to the board and to the superintendent this morning. One is the reconsideration process. We have a process, the county does, and while it's not perfect, it is good. The books are moving through the process much faster, and it should stay like it is. At the county level, the reconsideration process does not need to move to the individual schools. It needs to stay at the county level for lots of different reasons. Another point I would like to make is parents' rights and responsibilities. Since I can't name names, thank you for having the public meeting at the Orange Park TTC, and thank you for the other member who was in attendance there. What I took away from that meeting is that parents do not want other people, particularly other parents, telling them what their child may or may not read. It's the parent's decision, ultimately. The county has a system in place right now where the parents can opt in to have an email sent when their child checks out a book so that the parents know what their children are checking out. This year it was an opt-in form. We would, as they've already stated, we would like to see an opt-out form and it being made accessible when the parents get all that paperwork at the beginning of the year, to have that in with that paperwork so that maybe we can get a higher percentage. Our percentage is close to Fleming Island's. It's not quite 70% yet, and that does make it difficult. Another point I would like to make is for challenged books. If challenged books have met the state statute, then all books should be readily available in our collections and on our shelves. If books are singled out by dots or colors on their spines, or putting placeholders on their shelves, or having books in the back room, that makes the students want to look at those books, and it may not be the right book for that child. And if you give books a category, spicy, mature, advanced theme, whatever you call these books, who's going to make that designation? Because what is spicy and mature to me may not be spicy and mature to you or to that parent of that child. It is the parent's right and the parent's decision to have their child check out the books that they deem represents their family values, not necessarily another one. But I'll save my other comments for later. Thank y'all.
Next is this Joette?
That's me. I work across the lake from you. Oh, I need you to go slow by my dog. You made for my bad Vulcan. Stay away in the middle. Okay, my name is Joette Alt-Rebels. I live at school. So, I don't do I have to tell you, 5400 Pine Avenue. That's good. Okay. So I'm kind of in agreement with some of the things that are said, but I just first of all want to say thank you to the unnamed, those who shall not be named, for showing up, talking to us, taking time out of your day, and listening to us. That was very important to listen. What do we have to say? What is getting feedback? We all say that as teachers. Ask the kids, differentiate, find out what everybody needs. So that was kind of like where we went with that meeting. We came up with some ideas, but the problem is we're really not coming up with solutions. We need some kind of solution at this point. Coming to the library, checking out a book, testing. Everyone doesn't have the endurance to read anymore. Reading a novel allows you to have endurance to read, to sit through that boring passage on whatever test you're taking. Keeping kids out of the library for whatever reason is kind of hindering testing, in my opinion. Okay, they don't really have that endurance. How do we get a book from the library, read it, get ready? I taught intensive reading for 10 years, so I know the kids need novels. They need to read. They need to be able to sit through that test with that passage from 1837 and read that and take a test on it. The opt-in form, thumbs down to that. So I've been teaching 29 years. Been in this game a long time. Back in the day, some of you are with me here, we had the opt-in, opt-out for school pictures. And everybody had to have a form if their kid was to get a picture made. My idea is, what if we have, now they just opt out. I don't want my kid's picture made, so I send a form in. Or, I don't want my child to stand for the pledge, so I have to send a form in. Is it not possible to do this with the media forms? Everyone's allowed in the library. Everyone can pick a book and decide. But if I don't want Sally to read this book, then I'm going to send my parental right, hey, I don't want my child to read that, and still get an email of what my child did read. So you're giving the power back to the parents, but you're also kind of lessening the burden on the teachers, on the schools, and so forth. Well, I can put my glasses back on. I think that was it. So those are I'm just trying to throw out some ideas, some solutions. So I don't know how many minutes I have left. Does anybody have a question for me? No? Nothing? You sure?
Not yet.
So is it, I'm not allowed to ask questions? I don't know. If it is possible, the opt-out would be super.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next is Jeanette DeRocco.
Hi, I'm Jeanette DeRocco. I'm a library media specialist at Green Cove Junior High. I also live in Orange Park. I have the letter that the junior high librarians, we wrote together. I sent it to you all. I was going to read it to you. I don't know if you want me to, though. I think a lot of it was just a misunderstanding. People came in and wanted our ideas, which we truly appreciate, because it's so difficult when others make a decision, as our board member said, about something they've never done and they really have no experience. These opt-in forms for the secondary level have caused undue work, strife, and a barrier to reading in the libraries this year. We had a perfectly wonderful plan in place with what's still used in the elementary, basically, where if they didn't want access, the parents signed a form and said no. I've done this about 30 years, okay? Every year that I've gotten any kind of parent who said, when Harry Potter first came out, I don't want my kid checking out any witchcraft books, put a little note in, okay, and I deal with it with that personal child. From what the parents have said, that's what they want us to go back to. They want us to stop putting barriers for every child based on one or two people's opinion. Okay, I might not agree that that's such a great book, okay, but I'm a professional. I have a master's in library science. I've done this a long time. I have certification. I read reviews, okay. The books that I have at my level were recommended for my level, and that is our job, okay. As we move forward, if we could please purchase books for our children, they would really appreciate it, okay. They've had so many barriers this year, first with having to return a form to even touch a book in the library, but then when they come in and they say, do you have this book? I'm so sorry, sweetie, that came out in the last 2 years and I haven't been able to purchase books in the last 2 years. Okay, so they rapidly lose interest with reading and libraries in general. Okay, we have a difficult yet wonderful and a form to move forward for reconsiderations when they're challenged this year. Okay, keeping it at the district level, I think, is the best policy. If we move it down to individual schools, I think you're opening yourself up for a lawsuit. Because if my community and the parents decide that this book is perfectly fine at the junior high, but at another junior high they decide it's not, well, who's right? You know, and then my parents are going to get upset if you've taken the book off the shelf when they've said it's okay, right? So please don't open us up for any more lawsuits. We want the kids to come in, get books, read for their enjoyment, and to extend their classroom time as well. So please, let's keep the current reconsideration policy that we have in place. Let's do away with parents having to send in another form as a barrier. We want the kids in and using our libraries.
Okay. Next is Michelle Bowman.
That's me. Michelle Bowman. I am media specialist at Oak Ridge Junior High, and I think a lot of the voices that have been heard, I basically agree with most of it. I became a media specialist because I love literacy, and I started right after COVID, so it's been a challenge every year. But this year has been incredibly challenging for me. I'm sorry, because I love literacy, and I don't feel like I'm promoting it anymore. I feel like I'm restricting it. So I just ask that you please help us do our jobs for the children and the parents, and allow us to purchase books for them, because they want the new stuff. And I'm so tired of telling them, I'm sorry, I don't have that, because I haven't been able to purchase books in 2 years. And it breaks my heart every time I have to give the children a form instead of a book to read. And Celebrate Literacy Week was impacted because of the policies, and activities that I do in the library, book tastings, are impacted because of the policies, and I'm just tired of sending students away. Sorry.
And last is Kelly Robertson. Oh.
Can we speak again?
Want me to hold that for the second meeting?
Yeah, that's
Is that way to do it? Okay.
the questions. Well, I didn't think two of them.
Maybe I could not.
Okay, sorry.
All right, well, thank you all for being here and sharing your wisdom. So at this time, we will move to superintendent comments.
No comments, I don't get a long day ahead of us.
We do. School board attorney? All right, any school board members?
Yes, if I may. First of all, thank you.
Thank you for all of you being here today and for your comments. Never be sad, never be upset about getting emotional about learning and the kids learning, because that's what we're all here for. And it's all about the children, and you've opened our eyes to a number of different issues. And personally, I've been on the board since this began, and I just want to offer my apology. Because we should have had you here for a meeting a heck of a long time ago. And I think 2 years is too long. And we should have had this meeting and had the opportunity to sit and talk. And I apologize for that we haven't done this sooner. So thank you for taking the initiative to come and speak to us.
Ms. Gilhousen, can I address the
Absolutely.
comments?
I will
Okay.
remind you, same courtesy, just don't name names.
Because I know the policy's not until the next,
Right, so just for clarification for the board, I had several media center specialists let me know they wanted to make comments, and I told them we
Okay.
can't do that during the workshop. It has to be during the meeting,
okay.
and public comment does not have to be on an agenda item, so
No, I was
that's
just
why.
wondering if I could address it, because I know the actual policy's not till the,
Yeah, if, whatever
Okay.
you'd like to say,
All
it's your
right.
time.
When I was asked to join the district at a meeting with the media specialist, I didn't have a plan. You cannot have a plan until you have stakeholder feedback. It absolutely doesn't work that way. Nor would I ever take credit for anything you said on that day, but I did take a lot of notes. And I've worked very, very hard in the last 6 months to put media specialists at the forefront when everyone else wasn't. And, I mean, I have not, I just want to say, taken any ideas and bragged about it, or really gotten any support in the last 6 months. You can look at my emails if you'd like to. So what I really want to say is, until yesterday, at 12:40, we did not have a document or a policy. I am unaware where that information came from, that people thought everything was concrete and done. It never was, it wasn't. It went from 30-something pages down to 3.25 pages. And every single piece of that was a fight for two groups of people, parents and media specialists. I did not think about another person, so I'd like to address some of the comments. One, I don't think it, honestly, this debate about opt-in and opt-out, if I listen to the words of every single media specialist and every single parent that I've had to address, it's not really about that. You know what it was about? It was about the mishandling, the representation, communication, and presentation of a brand new policy after the school year started. It was about the fact that media specialists had to type in every single student's name as they got these forms. That we allowed, as a district, place that burden on our media specialists to make a mishandled beginning or start to an opt-in policy, the media specialist's responsibility. I never once thought that we would roll out this process that would demand so many hours from a teacher. And I can tell you, and the district personnel that I have met with can tell you, the first thing out of my mouth every time someone wants to talk about something is that what the media specialists want? So I want to address this opt-in, opt-out problem. So there's a lot of counties that do this without any pain or time from a librarian. You might ask yourself, how do they do that? How do they do it without causing any time or hours from a media busy schedule? What they do is they, as parents log into the parent portal for the first time, they're instructed before they can use it to watch a short video on how to opt in. That's it. 99% of the kids within the first 10 days of all 16 counties that I asked, because the parents go into the portal, it's okay. Because the parents go into the portal The approvals are uploaded automatically into Synergy and put into Destiny. This is the only plan that I'm going to ask for. I would never ask for any plan that would require media specialists to track down and accept the fact that we only have 64% of the students. I am a 20-year veteran English teacher. This is ridiculous. What we need is a better plan. The entire day, yesterday and last week was spent before you develop a single piece of a media procedures manual. The people sitting in front of us need to be forefront in that activity. They have great ideas. And by the way, this thing about stickers and pulling books, that wasn't mine. I got that talking to a group of 10 media specialists after the district meeting. I don't care how you guys work it out when we have this procedures manual creation, but it needs to be worked out with the fact that unless a child has parent permission, they can't lay their eyes on a book. The books are there. We all know they're there. We don't know where they're at. We don't know how many of them there are. But I can tell you that not one parent's right supersedes another parent's right. I can also tell you in these meetings, I have 100% fight for the fact that every single book that doesn't break statute legislation 849 goes back on the shelf immediately. I'm trying to clear up some of the misnomers here because there are some. There was nothing to take credit of, the librarians told me. Matter of fact, all I've done is boost you as wonderful people who know how to do your job. And I will not stray from that regardless of what's been heard or said. So when you see this 3-page policy, I knew going into it that I had to have an open mind. Part of that open mind was really listening to people, which is how we got down to a 3-page policy. Every single concern you have has been addressed. And every concern you have, maybe without the exception of the opt-in, is what you've asked for. So like I said, I have also called for your purchases, your money, to go back to you. It was not a board decision to do that. We have never had a discussion about freezing your money. Matter of fact, I was shocked at the fact that they had for 2 years not given you any money when I was told at the media specialist meeting that you were not even allowed to buy updated ACT, SAT prep books. This should be shocking to every person sitting on this board. It is the day-to-day operations of the district, and for some reason, we felt like it was okay to not allow purchasing of books. Even after the state of Florida trained media specialists and required them to follow the media specialist training, which gives specific guidelines on what to buy for books. And lastly, unfortunately, today is not the days of yesterday. It wasn't last year, 20 years ago when I started. It just isn't. The fact that we have to do things different is because it is different. And the hope is to do things different, more effectively, and better for parents and teachers and students. And I hope when you see the policy as it stands right now, that you know it was written for you and about you from your ideas in collaboration with the district. So anything else you've heard, that's exactly what has happened. And that's all I had to say.
Anything further?
I just wanted to also say thank you for coming out and taking time away. We love your emails, and please send them. You know, it's always good to get the experts' opinions. Thank you.
There's some things, I'll wait till we get to the actual policy part.
Okay.
And thank you guys. Appreciate you all.
All right. So with that, this meeting is adjourned. And I will now call to order the workshop meeting. And our first item is a presentation from Neola.
So we have two guests here, Annette Martinson and Tom Whitmer, to talk about Neola. Welcome, sir. Going to give a brief presentation and then answer any questions you might have about it. There is an agenda item with a